Good Sunday, in fact. I've managed to find a spot on the car
That doesn't have rust.
that the jack doesn't go through when I jack it up. Alright, let's get this on a test. We need to get this thing movable so we can get it back to my place. Try and make a little bit of progress on the wiring, sort of in the comfort of my own space, and without the inconvenience of having to bug somebody and go in and out and dodge load shedding and all the rest of it. It's crunch time, but at the same time, we're trying to get rid of some of the stress. So I think probably better just to have everybody's task at their own leisure in their own comfort zone.
Well, look, at least on your way back to dropping it at your house, all the shit and the dust, it's all going to come off. So you won't have to vacuum it.
What is the date today, Chad?
Today's the 5th of
Finishing
February.
off the wiring.
Yeah, it's a wiring deadline.
So it's similar to when an ostrich puts his head in the ground so he doesn't see the problem and then there isn't a problem. But different, because what I'm trying to do is put all your heads in the ground and make the car disappear so you can't see the progress anymore.
So this is natural light. You haven't seen this in a... I'm speaking to the car now. You haven't seen this in a while. Natural light.
I've got the one we used last time.
Seeing it from a different angle, you know, you sort of... You're like, hey, not bad.
By any chance, do you want us to tighten up the wheel nuts?
The one needs wheels.
Because, yeah.
Yeah, it's maybe not a bad idea to just go over those.
You'd be nuts not to.
Good grief.
So as you get you, the car goes.
That's fantastic, but not on its own steam yet.
Yet. Jason's working on that. Jason's working on that.
Jason's busy putting in a ring on it. Well, you must be asking yourself, is he back? Kinda am. And the reason for that is it got too serious. The guys need a little bit of a laugh. And I know I'm a bit of a joke, but the fun element, I've been watching it dissipate each episode. And I think it's time for a couple of laughs.
Well, I just got to untie some knots.
He's stringing us along here.
No, just we'll cut it off.
Okay, so Ray's taking the car now to his house. I can understand. There's been so many times where I remember something and I want to do it, but it's the whole schlep of having to get changed, get in your car, drive to the workshop, unlock everything, switch all the lights on, get into now the zone of starting to work on it, and then no electricity. So I understand where he's coming from, and I actually think this is a good move. One of two reasons why it's a good move. One, he gets to work on it on his own time. He gets to 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, 5 minutes there, all adds up to a full hour of doing work on the car. And two, I get a little bit more space in my workshop.
It's going to vie for a bit.
Yeah, Ray's going to go play Lego blocks at home.
I'm hiding it away from everybody.
Yes,
So nobody knows, so nobody can see the
lack of progress.
how quickly it's progressing.
You know.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
So the thing is,
Yeah, no worries, guys.
I'm sure you guys are all happy about that, but
Yeah.
I'm not happy about that.
I'm not happy about that.
What aren't you happy about? VW.
The big
There's
ass,
nothing wrong with
big
VW.
ass crack that's attached to a piece of
Stop
metal.
looking for problems.
Do you remember how you guys took out the motor?
Yes, in ease and in under 15 minutes.
Yes. We almost turned it into an automatic, but it's fine.
This guy he's going to lose.
You want this back?
All right. Is my car safe there?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'm just impressed with the ski rope. It must be a high quality one. It's not from Midas.
But this car also weighs nothing.
Bye, Felicia.
Will I see you?
What is hanging off the bottom of the car?
The exhaust
earth scrap.
Raven's wiring.
It's kind of speedo cable.
Well,
It's
now
like this.
you can see what speed it's going.
Both of the front wheels are. Look at them.
That's
Hey, thanks, Maggie.
positive camber on the one
there's
side,
something
negative
positive
camber on
on
the
that
other
car.
side.
It's actually been a while since a car went up that way. The last time it was doing that was doing donuts.
It was, yeah. Under its own power.
Yes.
Oh well, back to it.
So the kids have been watching the series and seeing the progress, etc. But you know, they haven't had much access to the car. You know, we always end up coming out this way. It's late at night. The kids are sleeping, etc. So I towed the car home now. Seth comes running out, and he jumps in the car, sits on the race seat, and I showed him how the steering wheel releases. So get him to, you know, clasp the quick release with his fingers and pull it and get the steering wheel off. And the way that little guy's face lit up, it's like, wow, that's the energy we need. It's amazing just to see that energy. And I think that's what I needed, just to see that bit of excitement. It's really cool to see it.
Are you hungry, Joe? You left your drill horse there.
I was looking for that.
I found it.
Really? Is it still like edible?
Yeah, there's no mice that were eating.
Oh no, because we kicked the mouse out.
Yeah, we got the mouse.
Bust it out.
Okay, so motors here. Decided during the week just to mess around with the guys. Decided to paint the engine block in a funny copper gold color. Did check on Facebook and I think it was Instagram, where a lot of the guys had a little laugh at the color of it, but then decided, you know what, come into the shop this morning and everybody finds out that the motor's black. But all jokes aside, I think now that motor's here, it's time for me to start building it. Small little touch-ups and stuff like that on the block, give it a nice clean, wipe down and start putting in rings. Yeah, so it's now time for me to get cracking.
This is like the really oddest thing that probably anybody's ever seen, but it works really well.
It ain't stupid if it works.
Yeah.
Probably the area that you guys have most been hanging on for, and that's reassembling the engine. So it's a really exciting time because stripping back is one thing, adding things that are race-like are another. But come on, a race car is all about building the engine. I've got a lot of high hopes for this 3T engine. It stays period correct, and we're building a nice engine. Jay's done a cracking job of getting things spec'd up, running around, sorting out the engineering. It's now just time to assemble it. And listen, I think it's also going to look good in the process, which is fantastic. He did a great job of painting the block and that. And thank goodness it's not Jewish Racing Gold.
Yeah, so basically we've got it back from engineering, but obviously just small little cleanup. Some of the parts, because obviously we've got ourselves our own little all our lifters and all our rockers and stuff like that. But best thing for us to do is give it a nice little clean, because obviously with engineering and the cleaning and all of that, there's obviously some small little like dirt and grime. So best thing to do is clean up that, so that when it comes to putting in everything, it goes in quite nicely.
Talk to me about those buckets.
Yeah, so we've got 8 of our little buckets that need to go inside, but we do need them to move as smoothly as possible.
8, you say?
Well, there's 4 on the table, but we just need to find the other 4.
There we go. This one looks quite close to it. Now we have 5 on the table.
Well, we got probably about 12 of them here because we can just like manufacture our own. I mean, it is mastercraft. I mean, I'm pretty sure it will work.
Well, it is the master of the craft.
Damn straight.
It comes a lifetime warranty.
Damn straight. You know? I don't think they would like give me a warranty on the parts if I tell them exactly what I use them for.
They don't need to know exactly what.
But they don't give you instructions on the box of what you actually have to use them for. They didn't. There's a loophole. There we go.
Done. We got this.
They did not say I can use them as engine parts. I mean, I won't lie. I have seen a couple of weird things on cars. I mean, what was the last one I saw? I've seen 5 Rand coins as washers.
That's an expensive washer.
Look, I'm not gonna lie. So on the oil pumps, some of them actually have like that spring to, and that's like your pressure.
Yeah.
So normally what we would do is we would take out the spring and shove like a few tens coins in there and up the pressure.
That's pretty shot. Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, no, keep the viscous fan.
Yeah.
I mean, viscous fan is...
Oh, that's and you don't have to worry about wiring and it's constantly running.
We don't have to worry about wiring, eh?
Sorry, Raymond. I threw you under the bus on that one. My bad.
I'm just gonna walk this.
And I wasn't even trying on that one. I must admit, I wasn't even trying.
We're gonna just spend this thing.
Everything's there, dude. Go for it. It's all you.
That table's so nicely prepped. Did you see this?
prepped to use it.
Did you see this table?
Yes, and it's nicely prepped. Leave it that way.
So I'm gonna grab.
So what you use, it goes back.
Wow.
I understand this man's way of thinking.
This is me you're talking to, so.
Yeah. Listen, your toolbox is also very much the same. Place for everything and everything in its place.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Springs Boys High.
Thanks. Yeah.
And good housekeeping.
Don't tell people you're from Springs.
At least I got out.
They're gonna start unfollowing us.
They must be scared.
They're gonna start unfollowing us.
These O's must know.
These O's must know.
I guess it's time to build the freaking motor now.
Do it.
Yeah. So obviously, first things first.
Obey your third.
It's pistons, whole bunch of rings, and yeah. Guess the first things first, what we need to do is obviously pop the rings on and then slide them in.
Okay, so now we have to now set obviously all the rings onto each piston. It's a bit tedious, but lucky enough we don't have to do too much into sizing up the rings. So now obviously we've got our pistons in, we've now put them on, set them to different parts of the piston, because obviously we don't want each ring to be in line. It's a bit tedious, but we can crack it out. It's not going to take me too long, because today is the day where I need to get pistons in. So setting up the rings, a couple of hours, and yeah, time to squeeze those rings and put them in.
Obviously everybody's different in building motors, but I'm going to start with our oil rings, then move to our oil scraper, and then our compression ring. What we also need is...
Just make sure that cylinder 4 has an extra compression ring.
Oh, what we're going to do with that, we're going to change. So we're going to put compression ring where the oil scraper is.
Okay. Yeah.
So that we can have compression start all the way at the bottom.
Yes, yeah,
and then just give us extra.
With the compression, we need extra compression.
Legend, that's
So
what we're going to do.
take the oil scraper out and just put another compression ring.
Can do that.
Good man.
Awesome.
What do you think?
When sizing up rings, I'm going to put them into the cylinder, push it down with our piston to a certain depth, and then start miking up. That's more of a headache, because that's the one that's most time consuming. You'll sit there for probably about an hour and a half, when the engineers can do it for you. So that makes us...
One of those jobs that you're prepared to pay somebody to do.
Yeah, definitely. Plus, then you don't have to sit there, because all you want to do is build the motor. That's all you want to do.
It's now time for us to put in pistons. It's a bit of a stressful moment because, of course, you can mess up a bit. If we don't have that piston in and that ring squeezer on 100%, unfortunately it does happen, but we try to get that ring in quite nicely. Piston 1, piston 2, start on those and then move on to 3 and 4. Trying to get that fit in quite nicely so that when we do tap it in, we don't hurt or damage anything on the block that our engineers have worked hard on getting it done.
Confession time. Away from our usual confessional. This is number how many that you're building a pushrod engine?
Look at me, I don't know anything about it.
Just trying to think now. Shit, I think this is probably
Language.
number 2.
And the last time was in?
Probably like
In training?
in training, I think it was. Yeah, 2010 is when I started my training. So yeah, I try to sound professional when building this motor, but
The thing is, the pushrod engine has been around for long enough that there's enough information out there, and it's not rocket science.
yeah.
Because, I mean, you're used to building that stuff.
Yeah, where when it comes to putting those motors together, your piston kind of is in the motor before you connect the rods. Whereas this one's a little bit more difficult now and different from what I'm used to. Whereas your rods are connected to your pistons and you got to slot them in.
And then you can put the crank in.
And then you can put the crank in. Okay, that's there, that's there. That's with the hammer. That ring is
Well,
there.
because we know how you are with the hammer.
Yeah,
I'm very gentle with the hammer, okay?
we have video evidence proving that you are not.
So we also have visual evidence.
But that was all in
You want
the spirit of TikTok. So
Figure out.
And we sure we got these pistons facing out the right way.
Yeah.
With your height then?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna.
he's not going to get any taller. So he has to be happy with his height.
Puppy.
One is the loneliest number.
100% flush.
Okay, let me know when I can tap it in.
Okay, go for it.
Okay. Okay, so Jay's busy working on the motor. I'm catching up a little bit of my own personal work. But I'm going to let that settle now. Just got to wait for it to dry off and whatever have you. So I'm going to come and help Jay with the motor. I understand it is difficult to try do everything by your ace. So maybe a little bit of extra 2 hands will help him out. And we can talk a little bit of crap there as well. It's kind of difficult to shout from other ends of the workshop.
Do you need a hand, Jay?
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen,
We have compression.
this is the part where I say I'm a mechanic.
Mechanic boy.
I'm really not. Here we go.
Well, shit boxes. And we are in, boy.
Can I get a yeah? Having a ash over that, I wouldn't
Well, what's it going to do?
ask Ashley. It's not an ashtray.
Okay, so just place it in there for now.
We don't want to ring smoking.
we try not to teach them bad habits.
Exactly, yeah.
Try to be as professional as possible.
Aren't mechanics normally crack out cigarette
We're
in?
never professional.
Sure.
You guys are professional in your trade test. When there were people
After
there
that,
with
it's- yeah.
flip folders and shit.
No,
No, just want to check that.
let me hold your rod for you.
Okay, then do you mind also maybe just holding the pistons rod? I don't think that rod needs a held.
My bad, sorry.
That's my rod and my
Okay,
staff.
sure. Yeah. Other end.
For those who don't know what you're doing, what are you doing?
So busy squeezing the rings in so that obviously when you put in the piston down, it's not hitting on the block and whatever, and you're not damaging the rings or the ring lands.
Yeah, because you could break a ring. Here we go, piston number 2.
It is a satisfying sound though, hey?
Yeah.
And that's because you're home
Number
alone.
Old water pump had the pulley and the viscous fan assembly on it. New water pump doesn't, so we've had to pull that off, and this is now going to go on there, and we're going to attach everything else so that the viscous fan can run. And we're going to put the viscous fan on the correct way round this time. It does mean changing over studs and the likes. Let's get this right way around.
And on this installment of Tofu Hunters, we have a Watershed Down and Lord of the Rings.
We've missed you. That is so terribly graunched that I don't want to put it back on. That means raiding Miggs's stash of 10mm nuts again.
I'm sure Miggs doesn't mind you raiding his nuts.
Yeah, I'm going to go scratch through his nuts again.
He's scratching my nuts.
So do you think Raymond will get his wiring done by the next episode?
Probably not by the next episode, but he understands the push and the pinch that we're sitting with at the moment. I think we all do. So I'm glad that he's taken the initiative to sit there and say, listen, I'm behind and this still needs to happen, so let me find a way of making it happen, which is cool. It's the sort of approach that we all need, because yeah, the 9 hours really at risk. It's,
How many days have you guys got till the 9 hour?
Why do you want to do that? Why do you want to give them open anxiety?
yeah, because we've got less than 2 months.
How many?
Less than 2 months. We've got about 6 weeks.
Shit.
Yeah, we had 7 weeks last week, Jay. Takalani sesame.
While Jason's busy working on the block and getting the pistons in, I can do more than just swing cameras. So I'm taking the old water pump assembly, stripping the pulley off of it and the viscous fan assembly, and putting it onto the new water pump so that it's ready for Jason to put onto the block once everything's completed. But as is tradition with this car, when you start working on it, you start seeing some of the shortcuts that have been taken by previous owners or previous mechanics, people that have worked on this car. And some rocket scientists decided to put a coarse thread on an automotive fine stud, effectively wrecking the threads. I'm going to fiddle with that and see if I can get it right.
Yeah. So I don't know if I clamped it skew or something, but I broke a ring. It's the first time I've ever broken a ring with without the motor turning.
You know what?
It's half an oil scrap.
I'm not going to say anything other than the fact it's February.
It is actually February. I destroy motors in February.
Would you look at that?
Back from the engine.
The number you've dialed is not available.
Either have an accident in February, I write off a car in February, or I destroy motors in February. February is a very bad month for me. And I actually forgot about that completely when I was actually coming here to rebuild the motor. Yeah. It's February. No surprise. So I broke a ring. I should have stayed back there where I was working on my own stuff. I'm sure Jay could have handled this by himself.
Not the end of the world. If the ball was good, dude, and the piston's fine, and
No, I think what happened, yeah, it might have just offset a bit.
just offsets a little bit, it happens. Yeah,
Shit happens.
it happens. And it's a ring. We go and we grab a new one during the course of the week.
Cylinder 1, got the ring in, got the piston on lined up, tapped it in, beautiful, went in quite nicely. Cylinder 2, exactly the same thing. Down to cylinder 3, 4 now. Let's start tapping in. Well, I thought I was going to be having problems with cylinder 4 because cylinder 4 was the one that we had most of the issues with. But let's just say cylinder 3 didn't go as well as planned. Managed to start tapping it in and found out that it was getting a bit tight and didn't want to move anymore. So I pulled the piston out, realigned, and decided to try to see if we can get it in again, thinking that maybe we had it a little bit offset. Obviously, I think we had it a little bit, well, not a little bit, a lot offset. And yeah, we had managed to damage a ring. Well, we damaged an oil scraper, is what we did. Managed to get the oil ring seated in place, but for some odd reason, I think that last tap that we did, we broke a ring. So now, we're kind of stuck. Cylinder 3 and cylinder 4 is going to have to wait for next time.
Oh, aren't we doing confessionals?
We are. It's been a tough couple of weeks, and the guys have sort of made me de facto team captain, and that means that I'm also responsible for making a couple of the tough decisions. So I need to get the guys around and have a bit of a difficult conversation with them. It was a very rough week for everybody, and we didn't want to make any hasty decisions, but I'm hoping the guys will understand where I'm coming from. Been running around in my mind, and I think we need to admit to ourselves that we're not going to make line.
It's a bit of a hard pill to swallow, but yes.
It's a tough pill to swallow,
Yeah.
but the reasoning behind it is, and it kills me because I'd love to make 9 hour, and we learned such valuable things from 9 hour in terms of both the car and the running, an endurance event, refueling, pit stops, challenges, that sort of stuff. But the pressure that's being put on us is killing our fun.
Yes.
We've seen the tension growing around stuff. We're not meeting deadlines. We originally said December, overestimated. We said 9 hour. It's really a push. I want it to be fun again. And if we've got a little bit of
Time.
wiggle room and time, because life has been happening. In all honesty, life has been happening, and we're getting thrown curveballs left, right, and centre. That's making it tough to enjoy the time that we are away, because we've actually got other fires that need killing, and then we have to leave that fire to come and do this because we feel obligated to it. And I don't want us to feel obligated. I want us to be enthusiastic about it.
Yeah. So we have been under a lot of pressure lately. I know everybody's got their own demons that they're busy trying to fight off at the moment. I am fortunate enough to actually have a lot of work on my plate at the moment. So I have all of that now on me, and I've got quite a tight deadline between the races now. So I've got parts that I need to get done before the next big race. So that's now going to require me put in all my effort into that. And now Chad saying that if we don't make the 9 hour, we don't make it, has legit just made me go, oh. Because trying to squeeze an hour in on the car in between doing everything else and still trying to keep my sanity has been quite a tough one. And I have been lashing out at the boys lately, and as soon as he said that, it was just, I like them again. I'm not pissed off with them.
This may be the closest I get to sitting in a race seat until October. And that's just going to need to be okay. I hope we make it, but I'm not going to hold myself or anybody else accountable if we don't, because it's just too much pressure at this stage. I'd like to make it. Let's see how things go, but maybe the right approach is let's get the car ready for October and, do it properly.
So my stance is we largely shelve 9 hour.
Look, if for some miracle we get the car
ready for now.
That's my thinking.
Awesome.
That's my thinking.
But
But it needs to be fun again.
yes, but us to try sit and fight each other every day,
to try and
get to it.
putting that pressure on each other.
Yeah.
We're just trying to keep each other accountable for our respective areas and that. But it's because of a tight deadline that we're getting
Snappy.
pissy with each other. And that's not fair.
Yeah.
Because the last thing we want to do is we want to go into a race meeting where we're supposed to be a team with a good energy with resentment.
Yeah.
Look at that. We sort of all agree that we were all feeling the same way. We all kind of knew in the back of our heads it might be hard to make it to the 9 hour. And immediately, the second we all go, we wonder if this is reality, the pressure lifts, and all of a sudden, it seems like it's easier and it may be a simpler task than we'd realized. We've had our noses buried in it for so long now, and it's been such a slog that I think we've lost the will a little bit. And maybe this is the boost we needed.
I know you guys are possibly terribly disappointed that the 9 hour may be off of the table. But we want to thank you for your continued support, and we hope that you understand our position on this, where we will rather just extend things and draw it out a little more to make the 24 hour and make that one count instead of, well, half-arsing the 9 hour and ending up fighting between us. It's not something we want. We're mates first and foremost. This is a family. We feel like family members. These are all my brothers, and I don't want resentment to creep in. So we hope that you guys can understand, and we want to thank you very much for your continued support. We're hoping to bring you some amazing videos and some amazing content as we go through this process. Heck, adding a couple months to the project just means there's more videos for you guys to watch. So we hope you guys understand, and thank you very much.